Welcome back to the NCAA Women's Championship Special, presented by Capital One.
Well, you need stars to win it all. We've got those tonight. Skylar Diggins, no doubt about it, the star for the Fighting Irish, back here for a second straight year. Meanwhile, Brittney Griner, also the big star for the Baylor Lady Bears, and a reason why they are close to an unbeaten season. Brittney now on Skylar, and Skylar now on Brittney.
When you go against a player like Brittney Griner for the first time, I think you're surprised. For one, standing next to her and actually seeing 6'8" in person, a woman, you know what I mean? Her speed and agility for her height is amazing.
She's a great player. You know, she's a complete player. She has great court vision.
You know, she's the face of women's basketball. And she's able to maintain such a great personality and take it all in, and, you know, all the demands and all the pressures.
You know, she gets the ball to the player that needs it. And she can attack the rim, knock down shots. So definitely got a container in this game.
She doesn't trash talk at all, which is one of the reasons why a lot of people respect her game, because you never see her really trash talking. She's just an all-around great player and a good person too.
Well, no doubt about it, both Brittney and Skylar are superstars, but this year for sure, Brittney Griner is the big star in women's college basketball. 6'8", the dunks, the blocks, and as you might imagine, being that big and that talented, she gets a lot of attention. Some of it good, some of it bad.
This child is as precious as they come when it comes to being a good person, a sweet kid, a coachable, one of the greatest players that I've ever coached, probably the greatest, and the easiest to coach. I love going to work and seeing Brittney Griner's face. She just makes me happy. But yet the stuff she's had to read about, the stuff she's had to hear, the stuff people say about her, the stuff people write about her, it's got to stop. This kid has had so much thrown at her that I wonder sometimes if she goes, is it really worth it to keep putting up with all this? But she never does. She never does. It's not right what people say about her, and nobody, and the nerve, they say it to her in her face. To her face. And that's the part that's just disgusting to me.
Well, through it all, Brittney Griner has kept a smile on her face and just gone about her business, and that's the reason why she did win the State Farm Way Trophy, the Heisman Trophy of women's college basketball. And Carolyn, I'm just wondering, as a former coach, as you listen to Kim there, basically going mama bear on a cub more than anything else, it's really about protecting your player.
It is. When you're a coach, the players on your team, those are like your kids. They're an extension. And with the things that some people may say, this social media can get out of hand. I think to address it, but I wouldn't harp on it. It's kind of like my mama told me, sticks and stones can break your bones. The names will never hurt you. Brittney Griner is one of the neatest kids you will ever meet. She's so fun to be around, and she rises above, no pun intended, being 6'8". Of all of the negative things that have said, there are more positive things to say about Brittney Griner.
I think that's the most impressive thing, to see how she's matured now into her junior season. And you know, Baylor has done a great job, and her teammates and her coaches get more riled up about it than Brittney Griner does. They have that protective cocoon around her, but I think it's her humility, it's the grace with which she deals with the gifts that she's been given, and she's been given a lot of gifts, and she loves to play basketball, and she's at one of the best in the world at doing it.
Well, you heard Skylar Diggins say she never talks trash despite all the stuff that goes on, and you'll see Kim on the sidelines calling for fouls all the time. As for what to expect tonight in the national championship, let's go down to the people calling the game tonight for you, Dave O'Brien and Doris Burke.
Trey, thank you very much. Can't wait. Now, one thing we know, these teams have met before. They met, Doris, on November 20th back in Waco, Texas. How much of a template that is for this matchup, that's anybody's guess. It was so long ago. What we do know is Brittney Griner could do virtually anything she wanted against the Irish.
Well, like for most teams, Brittney Griner is an incredibly difficult matchup on both ends of the floor. A healthy Natalie Achonwa back in the Irish lineup will help, but the reality is her release point is so high, and her offensive rebounding ability has improved so drastically. She has evolved on the offensive end where she can turn over both shoulders. She can step away and make up the face-up jump shot. She is so difficult to guard, gets to the free throw line over 6 times per game. This is a matchup nightmare for anybody. Devereaux Peters has her hands full.
You and I have called a lot of Notre Dame games, a lot of Baylor games over the last couple of years. You've talked about this point guard matchup, I think, for 2 years running between Odyssey Sims and Skylar Diggins, and we've got it tonight. It's going to be a dandy.
This is going to be special. We've got the nation's best offensive point guard in Skylar Diggins versus the nation's best defensive point guard in Odyssey Sims. And back in that matchup in November, Odyssey Sims took the ball twice in open floor situations from Skylar Diggins, who told me yesterday she was flat better than I was. And if 7 turnovers, I have them in the national championship game, it will be difficult for us to win. She's got to be strong with the basketball and make great decisions.
There's a lot of big-time attitude, and I mean that in the best possible way, between these two. Looking forward to it tonight in the national championship game in Denver, Colorado. Now, back to Trey.
All right, Dave and Doris, thanks so much. They're the Fighting Irish walking off as they get set for a second straight national title appearance. Let's take you inside now and meet the Fighting Irish.
Devereaux Peters, number 14, 5th-year senior, and I'm a perfume fanatic. I love perfume.
Skylar Diggins, number 4, junior, and I'm a Twitter junkie. Follow me on Twitter.
Brittany Mallory, number 22, 5th-year senior, and I love shoes. I'm a shoeaholic.
Natalie Novoselt, number 21, senior, and I only like the bottoms of muffins, not the tops.
Kayla McBride, number 23, sophomore, and I sort my M&Ms by color before I eat them.
NCAA Women's Championship Special is presented by the Capital One Cup. Learn more and check the standings at CapitalOneCup.com.
Brittany Griner, number 42, junior. Love the longboard, and I'm addicted to phone cases.
Odyssey Sims, number 0, sophomore. I love sneakers.
Jordan Madden, number 3, junior. I love to sleep and love to drink soda.
Whoa, baby!
Nene Hayden, number 1, junior, and I like to sleep.
Destiny Williams, number 10, junior. Love video games and puppies.
Well, nothing left to do but figure out who's going to win a national championship as we're back here getting set for tip time. Final thought and who wins, Kara?
Notre Dame, to me, is the most capable offensive team in the country. They have all the weapons to attack what is a great defense in Baylor, but I think the force of Brittany Griner and all that comes with that on both ends of the floor makes Baylor the national champion.
I think that it's Baylor's to lose, but I think Notre Dame has a possibility if they can control the tempo, keep it a low possession for Baylor because they do have the weapons that can score, but I don't know if they have an answer to stop the big girl down low in the paint.
You like Baylor as well?
Yes.
One thing we know, it's either going to be history for the Bears tonight or redemption for the Fighting Irish. What started in October ends tonight with a national championship, and it comes your way now.
If we don't win this game, the 39 wins don't matter.
We have to play our game and not worry about anything else.
This year is special because we have a chance to make history.
We want to show the nation that we are an elite program.
We are capable of winning the national championship.
We've been here before. We know what it's all about. We've got to go out and do the job this time.
This is our chance to make up for last year.
To leave it all on the floor.
Our team motto is unfinished business.
The most dangerous thing about Baylor is 6'8" Brittany Griner.
This is the stage where big players make big plays.
I have to be a leader.
I have to dominate in the paint.
I have to lead the team and take care of the ball.
I have to be prepared to do whatever the team needs me to.
The most dangerous thing about this team is that we have balance. Pick your poison.
The most dangerous thing about Notre Dame is they're hungry.
This is our chance to go 40-0.
If we go 39-1, all those 39 ball games would be pointless.
It's really no pressure on us. We just have to come out and play our game.
I think it's going to be a battle of some great players on both sides of the ball.
It's a national championship, so you definitely have to prepare for anything to happen.
Everything's on the line. We have no other choice but to play well.
Being undefeated doesn't mean anything if you don't win.
This is our chance to make history.
If you're any kind of basketball fan, you are going to love this game.
One more win.
Our host city, Denver, Colorado, has been a bit unpredictable. We've gone from 82 to snow during the Final Four. The two teams in the final have been constant. We welcome you to the NCAA Women's Championship presented by Capital One. And tonight, the Baylor Lady Bears are poised to make history. No one has ever gone 40-0 in college basketball, but the Fighting Irish of Notre Dame can win their second national title if they can end Baylor's dreams of perfection. Great to be back with you here from the floor of the Pepsi Center and the National Championship. I'm Dave O'Brien. My partner Doris Burke, Holly Rowe, and Rebecca Lobo will be joining us in just a little bit. Great to be with you. And Doris, 40-0 has a special and unique ring to it because no one has ever done it, but Baylor is 40 minutes away.
It's not a team, though, that conducts itself as if it's under the weight of any undue pressure. Its sole focus all year has been winning a national championship. And if they do that, they will help to cement the legacy of the nation's best and most dominant player, Brittney Griner.
All right, take us to our final one-on-one for the season. Very appropriate. We have two of the great stars in women's college basketball to kick this one off.
6'8" Brittney Griner is unlike any presence we have ever seen in women's college basketball. She changes your thinking every time you step over the half-court line on the offensive end of the floor. She has evolved offensively to where she's confident on multiple spots. She absorbs double teams, and you cannot run your normal offense and expect to generate points. Skylar Diggins has got high basketball IQ and a strong motor, and she leads a dynamic contingent of Fighting Irish guards. And when they had to have plays made at the end of that semifinal, Skylar Diggins delivered. And this is a unique relationship between this group and Muffet McGraw.
So we'll continue to set the stage for this championship game in Denver. Will it be Notre Dame's talented guards or the player of the year who prevails on the biggest stage of all? Coming up next.
The NCAA Women's Championship is presented by the Capital One Venture Card. What's in your wallet? And in part by Lincoln and the new MKS. Now it gets interesting. And Sleep In. Dream better here. Book now at sleepin.com.
Got these wristbands, and everybody wears them in practice everywhere we go. Last year, we didn't take care of our business, so this year's motto was unfinished business.
We haven't accomplished anything yet. Yeah, people say that we're undefeated, and can they finish? Well, we must finish now to reach the ultimate goal.
That ultimate goal, of course, the national championship. Now 6 teams have gone in undefeated to the national championship game. Every one of them have come out with the national championship. That's on the line tonight for Baylor. Now from the Pepsi Center, time for our national anthem. And here's our public address announcer, Agnes Green.
And now, please rise and join Director Joseph Galima and the United States Air Force Cadet Chorale in the singing of our national anthem.
Oh, say, can you see by the dawn's early light what so proudly we hailed at the twilight's last gleaming, whose broad stripes and bright stars through the perilous fight o'er the ramparts we watched were so gallantly streaming, and the rocket's red glare, the bombs bursting in air, gave proof through the night that our flag was still there. Oh, say does that star-spangled banner yet wave o'er the land of the free and the home of the brave.
A capacity crowd here in Denver. We've mentioned it already. This is going to be the second meeting of the season between Baylor and Notre Dame. When they traveled to Waco, Texas in November, Notre Dame allowed a season-high 94 points. Skylar Diggins with 27, but also turned it over 7 times. And Brittney Griner was outstanding, 32 points, 14 rebounds, and 5 block shots. Time now for our Capital One starting lineups. Let's go back to public address announcer Agnes Green.
And now, let's meet the starting lineups. At guard for Notre Dame, a 5'9" junior from South Bend, Indiana, majoring in management and entrepreneurship. Number 4, Skylar Diggins. At guard for Baylor, a 5'8" sophomore from Irving, Texas, majoring in speech communication. Number 0, Odyssey Sims. At guard for Notre Dame, a 5'10" senior from Baltimore, Maryland, majoring in graduate studies. Number 22, Brittney Mallory. At guard for Baylor, a 6' junior from Dallas, Texas, majoring in health, human performance, and recreation. Number 1, Kametria Hayden. At guard for Notre Dame, a 5'11" senior from Lexington, Kentucky, majoring in anthropology. Number 21, Natalie Novosel. At guard for Baylor, a 6' junior from Lepanto, Arkansas, majoring in health, human performance, and recreation. Number 3, Jordan Madden. At guard for Notre Dame, a 5'11" sophomore from Erie, Pennsylvania, majoring in business. Number 23, Kayla McBride. At forward for Baylor, a 6'1" junior from Benton Harbor, Michigan, majoring in health, human performance, and recreation. Number 10, Destiny Williams. At forward for Notre Dame, a 6'2" senior from Chicago, Illinois, majoring in graduate studies. Number 14, Devereaux Peters. At center for Baylor, a 6'8" junior from Houston, Texas, majoring in health, human performance, and recreation. Number 42, Brittney Griner. And introducing the head coaches for Notre Dame, Muffet McGraw. And for Baylor, Kim Mulkey.
Agnes, thank you very much. Our starting lineups. Now we bring in our reporters tonight, Holly Rowe and Rebecca Lobo. Rebecca, as a player of the year who played for a national title, you're one of the few who really understand the pressure on Brittney Griner tonight.
Well, Brittney Griner did not have eye-popping stats after the semifinal game. Only 3 made field goals and 2 block shots. But the stat that matters most for Brittney Griner is minutes played, because she affects the way the game is played every single second that she's on the floor. Defensively, she is ever present in players' minds. Amber Orange thinks she has a layup going to the basket and then thinks better of it. On offense, Griner draws multiple defenders. That's the octopus defense. She has 8 arms surrounding her. Brittney Griner's 6'8" presence is felt by both teams every single second she is on the floor. Let's go to Holly Rowe.
Well, Notre Dame's Skylar Diggins, their point guard, said everybody talks about Brittney Griner, and rightfully so, but she's more concerned with what she calls the first tier of defense, and that's her fellow point guard, Odyssey Sims of Baylor. She said in their previous meeting this year, frankly, Odyssey did the better job. Skylar had a season-high 7 high turnovers. Odyssey with 6 steals. Skylar said their key to victory tonight will be to be the aggressors and take care of the ball.
Holly, thank you very much. We're ready for the opening tip. Notre Dame wearing the exact same uniforms they were in last year's national championship game. Hoping for a better result, obviously. Brittney Griner wins the opening tip, and the national championship is underway. Sims swinging it up top for Madden. We had a cold start in the national semifinal. Destiny Williams in the paint, little leaner, and that's going to go for the first strike of the game.
Well, interesting to see already. The Irish are clearly going to play off Jordan Madden, similar to what Stanford did successfully, at least in the first half of their national semifinal.
Watch for Destiny Williams to really do some things in this game. When they met in November, she had 15 points, 13 rebounds. That's a kickball in the opening half minute of play here. Notre Dame coming in at 35-3. Lost in the national championship game last year in Indianapolis to Texas A&M. So they have just as much unfinished business as Baylor does coming into this one. Mallory bouncing here. Diggins will get that one to go, and that's a play that works so well.
This is the best offensive team in the tournament, the Irish.
Williams on the other end. How about Devereaux Peters with the block? But Williams stays right with it. She has the first 4 for Baylor.
Well, a tremendous start. Sometimes in national championship games, it's not the stars that win and dictate the outcome. Sometimes it's the ancillary parts that come up big.
Diggins bouncing into paint. There's Peters rolling in for 2.
Well, you already get a glimpse of how good a passing team the Irish are. They lift you on their first possession to go back door, and then the pocket pass from Diggins. That's just pretty offensive basketball.
Baylor 39-0, won the national title in 2005. They have their championship inscribed on their warm-up jerseys. And inside, there's all the bodies around Griner. Draws the foul, and she'll go to the line to shoot 2. Relentlessly doubled and triple teamed.
Well, I'm not sure there's a defense that this basketball team hasn't seen, whether it's diamond and 1, box and 1, triangle and 2. Look at all the green jerseys around her. She will not lack for company tonight, but an early foul on Devereaux Peters. So let's monitor that, because the Irish only have 2 or 3 bodies they can go to in the post.
Griner, an 80% foul shooter. Devereaux Peters told us the day after their final 4-game national semifinal against Connecticut, she said, "I have never been so tired in my life." She was addressing the altitude issue.
Well, we thought all 4 teams were exhausted for stretches, and Skylar Diggins actually said there was a point in time where I thought, oh my goodness, there absolutely must be coming a TV timeout shortly, because she was so gassed.
Really praying for it. Diggins, one of the most dynamic players in the country, the Big East Player of the Year. 27 points in the first tilt against the Lady Bears. She'll take one at the foul line and short. Big rebound, Peters. She's fouled in the act of putting it back up. Sims actually keeps her from dropping to the floor. A little helping hand there. You may not see that very often the rest of the night.
Well, second shot opportunities. A nice little soft jumper by Skylar Diggins. And just Devereaux Peters' greatest asset is her speed. She is a tremendous athlete and just pursues the basketball out of her area.
Nene Hayden with the foul. Peters, the fiery 2-time Big East Defensive Player of the Year.
Even though the Irish lost back in November, they put a number on this Baylor team that no other team in the country could do. And that was with 3 for 18 shooting from 3-point territory. So Baylor will have to score tonight.
Notre Dame scored 81, but they gave up 94 because Griner had a huge game. She misfires in close. The most points the Fighting Irish gave up by quite a lot all season long. What a dish to Peters. Tough angle. Can't get it to go. Nifty pass, though, from Skylar Diggins. So here's Odyssey Sims. You'd hate to say the other point guard in this matchup because she's right there with Skylar Diggins, and defensively she doesn't have any fear. It's going to be a blocking foul, and that's on Peters.
That's 2.
That's 2 on Devereaux Peters.
Natalie Dechonwa will get up off the bench and quickly. We have not even gone to the first TV timeout. Obvious concern on Muffet McGraw's face. And I'll say this to you, Devereaux Peters, historically in her career, particularly early, got herself into foul trouble a ton and does so in an important moment.
On the run, Diggins has some help. Mallory running with her. She'll lay it up and in. So Notre Dame jumps into a 1-point lead. Diggins with 4. Notre Dame, the top scoring team to come to Denver as part of the Final Four field. Bottle up and a timeout. Williams takes one right there on the baseline. So as not to give up the basketball, has to take the timeout. 3 minutes in, Notre Dame up a point in a national championship game. 17 minutes to go here in the first half. For the 6th time in tournament history, a player is leading her team into the championship game as the AP Player of the Year and the Wade Trophy winner. Exactly what Brittney Griner is. The previous 5 all won national titles. Maya Moore, Candace Parker, Diana Taurasi, Sue Bird, and our own Rebecca Lobo, 1995.
She's going to lead the game as one of the most dominant players ever in terms of her productivity. But you know we define players and their legacy by championships. This is an important thing for Brittney Griner tonight and Baylor University.
Trying for her first national title. Here's McBride to lift. Got a good look. It rolls off. Griner went for it, and she mishandled the rebound.
You know, the Irish are a 4-guard lineup very often, so their guards must rebound and help the posts.
Novosel blocked there partially by Griner off the backboard. Novosel hit the deck as well. Natalie Novosel went off for 28 in that loss in Waco. Watch her tonight on the drive. Sims for the bucket.
Well, like Novosel, Odyssey Sims is tremendous off the dribble, and she can get between spaces that most players can't. Her handle is very tight.
Mallory doing what so many do, staying away from Griner. McBride is there for 2 on the nifty dish.
What do you like about what the Irish are doing? They're getting great movement, player movement, ball movement, and they're not shying away from the painted area.
Williams on the spin, trying to go to right, denied, no whistle there. McBride knocked it away. Now the double up, and it's going to be a 3-second violation.
Well, Brittney Griner's the most dominant player, but the player that this Baylor team gets its verve from, the one that makes them feel good, has a little edge to her, Odyssey Sims, very often the baddest woman on the floor.
The Pepsi Center, none bigger than that guy. RG3, the Heisman Trophy winner. What a sports year Baylor's had. There's the great Lisa Leslie as well. And Condoleezza Rice did not leave when Stanford vacated.
Clearly impressed by the Brittney Griner effect.
Trace Atkins, the country music superstar, is also here, a huge supporter of the Lady Bears.
He had a little crush on Kim when she was a player at Louisiana Tech.
He admitted that. He speaks to them all the time. Here's McBride to launch one off the back iron. Pitch goal by Mallory, and a new shot clock for the Irish.
Well, 3rd offensive rebound, and they are not shying away. They actually have an advantage in paint points, 8-6 right now, Notre Dame.
We talked about how poorly Notre Dame shot it at Waco, 3 for 18. Griner got a piece of it. Often what happens when you go up against the great wall of Griner, it's coming back out. Notre Dame by 1. Pope up high. Swings for Sims and a block by Diggins. Sims gets it back. Flips it up. Too strong. Baylor really crashing the glass in a foul against Notre Dame. But another big block by Skylar Diggins. Remember what she did against UConn late in that game.
The Irish are mixing their defenses. Baylor doesn't have to mix their defense. They can just send every drive toward Brittney Griner. They were in their storm defense. They have done a nice job through the first 5 minutes mixing things up against Baylor. Their storm defense is when they pressure every position, and that's what allowed the offensive rebound. When you're pressuring that hard, sometimes you compromise your rebounding ability.
Ochanwa with the foul, her first. And Hayden goes to the bench. Brooklyn Pope, 6'1" junior from Fort Worth, Texas, with her second foul shot on the way.
One interesting thing to note, Muffet McGraw has been a very hard and fast 2 fouls, and you sit the remainder of the half. So Ochanwa, who had some cramping issues in the national semifinal, looks like she's going to have to play the rest of this half, unless they go with Marquisha Wright.
Sims and Diggins going toe-to-toe there in a premier matchup. Achonwa. Griner comes out to guard. 7 on the shot clock. Off the fingertips of Mallory and out of play back over to Baylor. That's their first turnover.
Let's remember this. All season long, Baylor's defense alternated between 1 and 2 at the University of Connecticut in terms of field goal percentage defense. Kim's teams only give up 30% shooting, and they will pressure you into mistakes. Now the Irish show you another defense. This is their tandem defense. A little bit of a zone with a heavy emphasis on protecting the inside.
Terran Condry with it here with the shot clock down to 8. Flicked away by McBride. So 5 on the shot clock. Baylor with the ball with 14-12 to go in the first half of the national championship game. Condry was instrumental in the semifinal win over Stanford. They were daring her to shoot through much of the first half, and she wound up with 13, 9 over her average.
Listen, I'll say this. Instrumental might be an understatement. They don't win it without her making those shots.
Shot clock at 3. Pope jumps in, dumping it down low. Griner banks it in. That was with 1 on the shot clock.
Yeah, good patience. It's not a Baylor team that rattles. It really isn't. There's just this calm, steady demeanor about them.
Achonwa turning up on Griner, but it's not there off the backboard. And Brittney Griner with another rebound. That's her 4th. She averages 9. Just announced as the State Farm Wade Trophy winner. Foul here with 13:43 to go against Notre Dame and Achonwa.
Well, Brittney Griner, look at the bodies. There's one in front, one behind, very much like Stanford did. But when you deliver it on point, her release point's so high, you can't challenge the shot. It's too easy.
Skylar Diggins hit with her first personal and a timeout, with Baylor in the lead 12-9. 13:43 on the clock. Well, Wednesday night, ESPN2 and ESPN team up to bring you an NBA doubleheader. It all begins with the Kia NBA Countdown at 7:30. Then at 8 o'clock, the Oklahoma City Thunder. They will square off against the Miami Heat at 10:30 on ESPN. A battle of bragging rights for the city of the Angels as the Lakers take on the Clippers.
Well, the Oklahoma City Thunder just beat the Chicago Bulls, and I think they'd like to send a very clear message to the Miami Heat that no matter who comes out of the East, they're ready for them.
So out of the timeout, Baylor up by 3. 39-0, 1 win away from separating themselves from every team who's gone undefeated. No team's ever gone 40-0 in college basketball history. Both calling for a guard, now off to Sims.
Back to the tandem defense, and Marquisha Wright now in the basketball game. Someone who did not play in the national semifinal, but they need her tonight.
Wright, just a freshman. Big rebound underneath by Baylor. Back out for Griner. That was Madden on the baseline. Here's Sims. Too strong. Rebound tip. The fight for that. Sims comes away again. Over the top for Madden. A long possession for Baylor. And especially at this altitude, forcing Notre Dame to play a long run of defense here.
Portions of the season, that's been an Achilles heel, the defensive backboards for the Irish.
They swing it for Condry. The open shot. In and out. Griner boards it and gets it.
So 3 offensive rebounds in 1 possession. Muffet McGraw was so disturbed earlier in the year that she had a flip chart at practice, and when they gave up 10 in practice, she made them run. And look at the second chance points differential because of their productivity on the offensive glass.
Novosel gives it up to McBride. Novosel so far very quiet. Diggins off the fake. Fires it up, too soft. Baylor wants to run. Condry ahead for Madden. The bounce for Sims. Boy, they moved it beautifully.
Do you see what I mean, though? That's Sims blocking Skylar Diggins' shot, coming back with a smile on her face because she gets a bucket on the other end. I told you, she's the baddest woman on the floor sometimes.
You see the run by the Lady Bears to open up a 16-9 lead. Madden knocks it away. Baylor really playing tremendously aggressive defense. They're getting their fingertips on just about every pass.
Why not? When you have 6'8" safety measure in the back, you can pressure the heck out of the basketball. You can jump up into passing lanes. And Kim Mulkey told her group today, she said there is absolutely no reason for any of you to lose a shooter or to step away from pressuring them because we've got the ultimate safety measure.
Brittney Griner, who once blocked 14 shots at a game. That one popped up high, but Novosel is fouled on the play. Fouled by Madden, and she'll pick up her first.
We said we had the nation's best offensive point guard against the nation's best defensive point guard. That would be Odyssey Sims, and she's working against the dynamic Skylar Diggins, who thinks she gets a piece of that shot, and Condrey turns the other direction. The first pass covers so much ground. Pretty touch pass, and Baylor looking strong.
To 9. Let's go to Rebecca Lobo.
Well, Dave, Notre Dame sitting in that zone and especially shading Griner. So what do you see is a wide open lane towards the basket. One of the best ways to attack the zone, put the ball on the floor and get in the middle. That's what Brooklyn Pope does. Defense has to come up. Easy two for Brittany Griner.
You know, just smart use of it. And one of the things Kim preached against what they knew was coming, because they worked hard against the zone this morning in practice. She said, listen, we need constant movement. We need to enter the ball into the post in order to look for scoring options, and that's exactly what Rebecca showed you.
This is one thing Notre Dame really needs, and that's Natalie Novosel at the line. 84% foul shooter. She was 11 for 15 against Baylor in their first meeting, and it's a huge part of her attack.
One of the best in the country. A dynamic driver, can go in either direction, specializes in making the official call fouls because she initiates contact. She seeks it.
You mentioned it, a freshman on the floor for Notre Dame with Deb Peters out with 2 early fouls. That's a cautionary note for Muffet McGraw. And another one is the rebounding, a 12-5 advantage for Baylor. They beat them up on the boards in Waco by 15. They won the game by 13. Shot clock is whittled down to 2. Heaved up by Madden. She can't hit it. Rebound comes back into the corner, and here come the Fighting Irish. Mallory left open a 3. That glances away. Diggins chases down the rebound, however. Skylar, the All-American, being hounded by Sims.
Boy, look at how hard she plays. She just tries to keep you on one side of the floor once you're committed.
Diggins with a quick spin, but runs right into Griner. Novosel from 13. That missed badly.
That was a case where Odyssey Sims just refused to let her get back to the other side of the floor.
Sims, oh, that's a nifty move for 2.
Girl is playing tonight on both ends of the floor.
If she can contain her emotions, how important is that?
Well, I mean, I'm telling you, they get their toughness and their swag, as the kids like to say today. They get their swag from Odyssey Sims.
Achanwa looking for some help. Wright gets a touch. Here's Novosel way downtown. Baylor by 8, looking to run. Condrey gives it up for Williams. She'll shoot it straight on. Oh, net for 2. And a timeout, Notre Dame.
This is a team that is complete. They're a better offensive team than they were early in the year, and their defense has been outstanding.
Destiny Williams, the junior from Benton Harbor, Michigan, with a very confident-looking jump shot.
It's amazing. You know, it's hard to quantify Brittany Griner's impact, but one of the ways she's changed Kim Mulkey is completely in terms of defensive philosophy. In the past, Kim would funnel drivers to the middle of the floor. Now she tells her guards just funnel her baseline right to Brittany Griner, because there's nothing an offensive player can do. And even on that drive, the ball reverse sides, but you still had Brittany Griner sitting there waiting for you.
And Notre Dame has missed their last 7 shots because of number 42 largely. Let's check in with Holly Rowe.
Muffet McGraw of Notre Dame very animated in her huddle because they are not playing defense. The players admitted to us that their team defense was terrible in their first meeting this season against Baylor, but they said we've gotten a lot better. We trust each other. We communicate. But right now she's furious. They're giving up too many open things that they did, that they've worked on, and they should know better. She's getting them fired up and begging them to play better defense.
Just wondering if their concern about scoring is impacting their philosophy on defense. Sometimes you could be so concerned with Brittany Griner and your ability to score the basketball that you don't pay attention to the other end of the floor.
Officials doing a little work on the floor. Brittany Griner, incidentally, the first player in NCAA history to score 2,000 points and block 500 shots in her career. Look at the board work. Offensive rebounds, Baylor doing good work there. And badly out-rebounded Notre Dame in the first meeting, 52-37. So Notre Dame with the basketball and trailing by 10 in the national championship.
Devereaux Peters is their best rebounder at just under 10 per game. So not only does she impact their ability to challenge shots, but also contain the backboards.
Slapped away by Nene Hayden, but McBride takes it back. 13 to shoot it. That's a kickball off of Baylor. And Thursday at 4:30 Eastern, the Frozen Four gets underway in Tampa as Union and Ferris State face off in the first national semifinal matchup on ESPNU, ESPN3, and streaming live on WatchESPN.com. In from McBride, quick shot, yes.
She's a piece of the puzzle they did not have a year ago and gives them another playmaking, scoring guard.
Devereaux Peters got into foul trouble the first time they met too and played very sparingly in the second half. He's been on the bench already a long stretch with 2 personals. Griner spins. Tough rebound by Pope. Up it goes again. That won't drop. So Notre Dame trying to whittle away at that lead, 20-12. McBride, is she the hot hand? Is Diggins beyond the 3? Rainbow shot. Boy, that was up there all night.
I think she felt like her team needed a bucket, and Odyssey Sims didn't quite think she had that kind of range. Get a hand up and contest and at least make her think about it.
Sims looks to answer. Diggins trying to push the tempo now. Notre Dame on a mini run. Diggins gets the handoff knocked away from her, and it's out of play off of Notre Dame. It'll be Baylor basketball at the 8:52 mark of the first half. So Notre Dame trying to hit 5th gear, maybe a little too fast.
I think Skylar Diggins, once you get that jumper flowing, then you feel like things are going for you offensively.
Griner, a touch in tight. That's impossible to stop.
No, and that's her preferred shoulder. She can turn over either way, but from her freshman year on, turning to that baseline side from that block has been what she has loved to do.
She's off to an outstanding start. 8 points, 5 rebounds, 1 block officially. But how many shots has she altered? And that one knocked away by Sims. The quick hands of Odyssey Sims. Oh, foul on the other end, however. Skylar Diggins had to get to the other end of the floor, and a personal will be number 2 on Skylar.
Well, she just yapped at Natalie Novosel because this is Odyssey Sims at her best. Folks, she averages 3 steals a game. Her ball pressure when she's checking the dribbler is sensational, but she's equally proficient off the basketball.
So Odyssey Sims will be at the line.
Now, again, a hard and fast rule, folks, for Muffet McGraw with 2 fouls. She's sitting Devereaux Peters. It looks like Mallory's coming in for Diggins. Now, you're going to play 8 minutes without your 2 stars?
Peters has only played 3 total minutes, and now their best player is on the bench.
I'll tell you what, I don't have that kind of patience. And I feel like you could lose a ball game in a first half if you don't have your stars. Now, this is still manageable. So if you're Muffet McGraw, you're sitting there saying, we're not out of this. And if this group can keep me attached, I'm going to save my players for the second half.
But it's a roll of the dice.
It sure is. Now, this becomes larger than 10. Boy, I'd be second-guessing myself if I'm Muffet.
Novosel here for the freshman Wright, who did not play in the national semifinal. Not 1 minute. McBride gets it up around and out. Sims again. She has a different look in her eye in this game tonight. I think a lot of it is because of that matchup with Skylar Diggins. All net there by Hayden. A 3-pointer.
Well, she is an outstanding 3-point shooter, Nene Hayden. Made a couple in the regional final that really buoyed her team when they got out of the gate slow.
27-15. The Baylor runs 7-0. They built their biggest lead so far here in the championship. Novosel tried to scoop, a block by Griner. She tried to adjust that shot about 3 different ways.
She just changes everything you do. The normal course of your offense won't work, and certainly one-on-one defense won't get it done either. The catch on the box, and Natalie Achanwa, no matter how straight up you go, that could have been an N1.
To win a national championship, I have to dominate in the paint. This year is special because we have a chance to make history. We want to show the nation that we can go 40-0.
Welcome back to Denver, where Baylor leads Notre Dame. Well, this is brewing up to be a great battle of two terrific point guards. But, guys, they spent some time together this summer, over 12 days on the World University Games team. Skylar Diggins and Odyssey Sims went at it every single day in practice. Odyssey says, we were guarding each other most of the time, but I looked at it like Skylar is the more experienced point guard. I tried to learn from her, but, boy, tonight they are both just about equal.
Well, and Diggins is back in, and so is Peters, but they can't convert, and Grinder's there for the rebound. Since Peters went out with her second foul, Baylor has outscored Notre Dame 19-6.
You know, it's impacting both their defense and ability to challenge shots and also their rebounding. It's compromised both.
And into Grinder, spinning left, bank shot, no, a rare miss there. Williams is up for the rebound and draws the foul. Destiny Williams very active. She barely missed a double-double against Stanford with 7 points and 10 rebounds.
You know, she plays perfectly off Brittany Griner. As you think about the preeminent point guard matchup right here, Sims in a 1-point advantage. Obviously, Diggins has been a little bit more efficient. But interestingly, this morning at shoot-around, Holly, Rebecca, and I each took our run at Odyssey Sims, trying to get her to say she was the best point guard in the country. And she wouldn't bite on the challenge. But I think you're right. There's a different feel about her, a different look in her eye.
McBride picking up the foul and goes to the bench for Muffet McGraw. Williams with another one coming, a 67% shooter.
Well, Peters and Diggins back in with the 2 fouls, and I think you have to. This lead was getting away from you. You can't stay hard and fast with the 2 foul and you sit.
So this against what Muffet McGraw would typically do. They have a much longer sit. Diggins actually was barely on the bench for a couple of minutes. She has it beyond the 3. Hayden out to Gardner now. Shot clock to 10 for the Fighting Irish. Diggins, Big East Player of the Year, airborne. That's a beautiful shot off the window.
Well, perfectly done. I believe against Baylor, you've got to do 2 things. You've got to make some threes, and you also have to work your mid-range. Smart pull-up and the perfect angle to take the shot and use the window.
Hayden working, kicks it back out for Madden. Now back inside. Hayden there. That won't roll in. Mallory crashing the glass. Brittany Mallory hit those big threes in overtime against Connecticut. Notre Dame works it perfectly for Wright in the basket on a give by Peters.
That's twice in a row now they've gotten the backdoor cut for easy shots. Conversion 1 for 2. You've got to be high conversion, and on those easy ones it should have been 2 for 2, frankly. And Baylor can't get casual now. Don't get comfortable. The Irish aren't going anywhere.
Griner pops out for a high post, now swings underneath. Hayden back to Williams. Harassed by Mallory. Shot clock to 4. They got to get a shot in the air. Here's Hayden. That missed it all, and it's a shot clock violation for Baylor. So it goes back over to the Fighting Irish with 5:22 to go.
Well, Diggins got him within 10 on a drive that was perfectly done. Or, excuse me, this is the backdoor cut by Marquisha Wright. Pretty play. See how they lift you up and force you to have no backdoor help. There's nobody below the free throw line to give assistance on that cut.
Notre Dame at 36%. Diggins for Novosel. Peters underneath and somehow got it by Griner for 2.
Yeah, see, they're scoring in the paint. They're not avoiding that area. They're just really efficient in moving the pieces of the Baylor defense to give themselves angles at the rim.
Baylor knocking out Stanford in the semifinal, 59-47. Here's Griner. Not there for her. Rebounded by Williams. A loose ball, though, scooped up by the Irish. Baylor had it and lost it. Peters, right again. Oh, she knew Brittany Griner was in the area.
That's going to be 3 on Devereaux Peters. That's just silly.
Crashing into Griner, going for the rebound and 3, and she's definitely heading back to the bench now. And she was not back in very long.
Well, and she's letting her emotions get the best of her. I think she's upset that it was a missed shot opportunity. You see the frustration. Watch her.
Well, that has been part of her reputation throughout her career. We chose to describe it as fiery. Sometimes her emotions get the better of her.
And she had matured this year to the point where that had not been the case. In the past, she would be almost personally offended when somebody scored on her.
Right.
So rather than give up a point, she commits silly fouls. She hadn't done that.
A 1-and-1 here for Brittany Griner. Lead by loose, controlled by Notre Dame and Wright, who figures to play a lot of minutes after not playing a single minute against Connecticut in a game that went overtime. That's a little shove there by, see if they get Skylar Diggins here.
Wow, that's an offensive foul, and that's Odyssey Sims in the midst of it. Did she just make a mistake? My fault. Is she saying Irish ball? Okay, yeah.
That is the call, right? It'll go against Odyssey Sims. Initially, she was ruling an offensive. So 4:28. I think Irish fans are breathing a huge sigh of relief that wasn't number 3 on Skylar Diggins.
It would have changed the equation not only for the final 4.5, but also the second 20 had she picked up another one.
Achanwa. Novosel and a foul off the ball. And that time they will get them for an offensive foul away from the basketball. And that personal will go on Wright, her first. So turn back over to the Baylor Lady Bears, trying to go to 40-0. No women's or men's team in the history of college basketball has ever done that. Hayden jumps into the lane. That didn't touch a thing. Pope is there on the baseline, and she wriggles in for 2.
I have to be honest, I haven't loved Baylor's shot selection, but they've been really good on the offensive glass.
They sure have.
Yeah, creating second chance points.
They're back up by 10. Inside 4 minutes. Novosel trying to get active. Can't drop that one in. Achanwa with a tough shot. Oh, got a lot of iron, but it rolled in for Natalie Achanwa, the 6'3 sophomore.
Yeah, her health has been an important piece of the Irish being as good as they have been this year.
She was terrific against Maryland earlier in the NCAA tournament. 18 points, 7 rebounds in the regional final. Madden left open a 3. Mallory yanks down a rebound.
Another bad shot. I mean, this is a player who's a poor three-point shooter. You had 16 ticks. Don't shoot it.
Novosel and the foul by Griner. That'll put Natalie Novosel to the line for 2.
See what I mean about her ability to draw fouls? She's special, Natalie Novosel, where that's concerned.
31-23 Baylor here in Denver, deciding the national champion. Notre Dame, Deb Peters on the bench with 3 personal fouls and a long sit. Let's go to Rebecca.
Well, Dave, Muffin McGraw has said over and over again the past 2 seasons that her team is a different team with Devereaux Peters on the floor. Yes, she can block shots and play defense, but she is also their best passer from the post position. Notre Dame has gotten some backdoors, but only when Devereaux Peters has been in the ballgame to deliver the pass. Her impact is huge. Only 5 minutes in this first half. Huge loss for Notre Dame.
And Markeisha Wright, who had played a total of 18 minutes in the tournament, will play a lot tonight. Let's go to Holly.
Well, Dave, that's something that Kim Mulkey just reminded her team of in that last title. She said, look, you guys need to go in and attack. They can't foul you. They don't have a bench. They have to bring their starters back in. They can't defend like they want to. They're in foul trouble, and that's the point she wanted to hammer home.
Holly, thank you very much. 31-25. Notre Dame, despite the foul trouble, within 6. And looking for a defensive stop. Condrey out at midcourt.
This is that tandem defense, and look at Achanwa basically trying to make sure she's in front of Griner.
Sims back for Condrey. Pope gets doubled up underneath, trying to get away from that. Pass, that won't go, and that was with 3 on the shot clock.
It's a perfect cut by Hayden, something Kim Mulkey talked about. She said we've got to get cuts into the middle when there's congestion down around the paint.
Notre Dame always mindful there may be a back door. Novosel continues to drive it on Griner. Griner went for the save and could not do it, so it'll be Notre Dame ball with 2:25 to go before halftime in the national title game.
The Irish +6. I mean, the Baylor Bears +6 at the free throw line, +7 rebounds, and +7 second chance points. There's no mystery about why they're up in this basketball game.
DeCanter over to check on the shot clock, which got reset there. 2:25 to go on the turnover. They're going to set it to 14 seconds. So Skylar Diggins to put it in. Novosel, quick inbound, little bump. Rebounded by Baylor, and here come the Lady Bears, the #1 overall seed in the tournament. Pope is open underneath and scores 2 more.
I think more concerning for the Irish is they give up an easy one. Natalie Novosel's now 0 for 6. Bottom line is they're going to win a championship tonight only if she scores.
Novosel averages 15 a game. And again scored 28 when they met in Waco, Texas. Although Baylor won that game fairly easily by 13. Shot clock under 10. Diggins on Sims. Quick step. Now around Griner, but the floater won't go. Brittney Griner knocks it out of bounds.
How about the mobility of 6'8" to move vertically, to move laterally, to do whatever it took to stay in front of one of the most dynamic scoring guards in the country in Skylar Diggins.
Griner averaging 5 blocks a game. She's going to set the record. Diggins for right, trying to stay away from Griner. She got a piece of that one. And a foul on the floor with 1:35 to go. A shove down underneath the basket. 33-25 Baylor. The foul will go against Brooklyn Pope of Baylor, and that's #1 on her. So Diggins to get it in. Skylar Diggins, a junior. South Bend, her hometown. Novosel held up that time by Condrey, and a foul against Baylor as the play has bogged down here with a lot of whistles. Certainly not unnecessary whistles.
But is that only team foul #6? So they still have not put a very good free throw shooting Irish team on the free throw line in the first half in the bonus situation.
Notre Dame hits 76%.
And great defenses do that. They guard you really hard, but they don't put you at the free throw line.
Novosel backs it out. Ochanwa sets up the screen. Novosel lost it on the dribble. She's having a choppy game. Here's Mallory to save her with a 3-pointer. So it's Brittney Mallory again to the rescue.
They haven't had their best game, but they've had enough to stay attached.
Hayden to try to free Griner again. She moves up near the foul line. Strong up. That won't go. And now there is a foul, a blocking foul, a very late call.
Wow, Dee Kantner didn't think there was enough. In fact, Dee Kantner was on the baseline, shaking her head, thinking that there was not enough for contact to be a foul. But to be honest with you, I thought there was. Let's watch. Watch the body. See, to me, she deserved to shoot some free throws. I think it's the right call. Don't you think there's enough contact there?
I do on the replay. I was just surprised it took that long. I figured when we didn't hear a whistle, Griner misses the first one, they weren't going to call it. But a late call against Notre Dame. Diggins is going to come out now. McBride comes back on so that she won't pick up a cheap third before halftime.
Yeah, very good. Smart.
#2 for Brittney Griner.
She's normally pretty good. She's missed a couple tonight. She's very good from the free throw line. Much better this year than in the last couple of years. And she's been decent in the past.
As a freshman, just 68%, 80% as a junior. So Mallory to set it up now for Notre Dame, trailing 34-28. Ochanwa gave up the dribble. Novosel pops it up. Nothing falling for her. Griner tears it down. 26 seconds. Here's Odyssey Sims, who at times has had an electrifying first half. Look at the dribble work here, but the shot won't go. Griner was able to tap that rebound and keep it alive, but now Baylor turns it over. The Irish win it back. 9 seconds before halftime. McBride blocked by Griner. Can they get a shot in the air? 3 seconds. Madden with it. 1 second, and they will not get a shot off before the end of the half, but Baylor has the lead as they go to the locker room, 34-28.
Baylor's missed 19 shots. They've got 12 offensive boards.
Let's go to Holly.
Skylar, how is your team able to overcome the emotion of how the game's being officiated and having Devereaux out with the 3 fouls?
We can't control how the refs call the game. We just have to adjust to it. Like you said, we have people out with fouls, but myself included got in foul trouble, so we just got to be smarter in the second half.
How do you get Natalie more involved, or what can you change? She doesn't have a field goal yet.
She just had to take a shot. I think she's worried about the length of the Baylor team, and I think that's kind of getting her out of her shot. She's got to get in the rhythm. We got to get her good play for her so she can get a start, easy basket.
Thank you very much. Rebecca?
Brittany, you have already as many made field goals this game as you did last game. What's working well for you on the offensive end?
I'm getting looks that I want. You know, we're moving the ball around well, and we're able to do what we want on offense.
14-point lead, cut to 6. What are the keys for you guys in the second half?
Come out strong. First 5 minutes is going to be key. Just got to come out and jump on them.
All right, Brittany, thank you. Dave?
Rebecca, thank you. So despite the foul trouble, Notre Dame very much alive. Coming up on the Home Depot halftime report with Trey, Cara, and Carolyn. First half breakdown, and Kobe and LeBron on Brittany Griner. They're closing in on 40-0. It's Griner against Skylar Diggins. The second half to come. Now to Trey Wingo for the Home Depot halftime reports.
All right, Dave and Doris, thanks so much. Welcome indeed to the Home Depot halftime report here inside the Pepsi Center in Denver. Trey Wingo alongside Carol Lawson and the coach Carolyn Peck. At one point, it was a 14-point Baylor lead in the first half. It is down to 6. Notre Dame hanging in there, and so much of what Notre Dame is able to do and not able to do, Carolyn, centers around, obviously, Brittany Griner.
Well, they're making Brittany Griner uncomfortable. They're not letting her get in her sweet spot, which is really the drop step down low and on the block. They're forcing her to have to hit the face-up game, whether it be outside the lane, off the block. Don't let her catch it where she can just drop step. Yes, she's proven that she can hit the face-up game, but right now, all of those shots are contested, and they're not falling for her. Brittany Griner is 3 for 7 on the 3 for 7 in the paint. Down low, the drop step is what has worked best for Brittany Griner. So Notre Dame has to be pretty pleased with the defense that they have played on the big girls so far.
Yeah, I think, you know, that lead that Baylor was able to spurt out to, that double-digit lead, that was in big part due to Baylor's defense and how much they were pressuring Notre Dame's perimeter players. And, of course, it helps to have the backstop in Brittany Griner, but how physical Baylor came out, making Notre Dame work for everything and giving them contested shots. And that's the difference for Baylor in this ball game and why they have the lead. And we talked about the backstop in Brittany Griner, but how about the pressure and the turnovers? The same thing happened in the semifinal. Notre Dame only has 4 turnovers, but Baylor scored off of every single one of them. But Notre Dame found a rhythm offensively in the latter stage of that half, and it was centered around pressure releases, backdoor cuts, ball moving crisply, and taking advantage of the over-aggression and lifting Griner out of the paint. Notre Dame, they need to take some of that rhythm, take some of those good vibes that they had, and try and replicate that in the second half.
Big question now, the 3 fouls Devereaux Peters has in the first half. How much do you think that'll be a factor in the final 20 minutes of
it's going to loom large. It's going to loom large because her principal matchup is Brittany Griner, whether it's defending against the zone or with Brittany Griner guarding her on the offensive end.
Doris Burke made a great comment in that Devereaux Peters is the best passer at that post position. If she's on the bench foul trouble-wise, then that takes away those backdoor opportunities.
Baylor doing a really good job on the glass. They have 11 offensive rebounds and 25 boards, 8 more than Notre Dame in the first half. A big reason why they are indeed up by 6. When we come back on the Home Depot halftime report, LeBron and other NBA stars on Griner.
This halftime report is built by the Home Depot. More saving, more doing. That's the power of the Home Depot.
Just 20 minutes left in this college basketball season. We welcome you back to the NCAA Women's Championship presented by Capital One. At the break, Baylor with the 34-28 lead over Notre Dame. Dave O'Brien, Doris Burke alongside. 9 points, 8 rebounds for the superstar Brittany Griner. What do you think of her first half, Doris?
Well, every single thing you do as an opponent of Baylor is with Brittany Griner in mind on both ends of the floor, and she dominated in certain aspects tonight when they were able to get her touches because of her high release point. There's really no challenging those shots. On the offensive end, this is what she does. 3 blocks, some of them emphatic, makes you think twice about going in there. And they dominated the offensive glass. It's a big part of how they got their lead.
Let's check in with Rebecca Lobo.
Well, Dave, even when Griner's not blocking shots, she's completely affecting the way Baylor plays defense. They get you to one side of the floor. They will overplay, try to keep you on that side of the floor. Jordan Madden denying on the right side. They want you to go baseline. Griner's there. You got a cutter coming through the middle. It doesn't matter. Griner is the great eraser.
3 blocks officially for her in the first half. Notre Dame opens up with the basketball. They trailed by as many as 14 in the first half, slicing it to 6 at halftime.
Well, very interesting. No Devereaux Peters to start the second half. McBride gets him off to a good start, but you elect to give Devereaux Peters a couple minutes on the bench. Think about it. Don't want her getting that 4th foul.
You and I have seen it many times. Skylar Diggins might not have a great first half, but over and over again, she's had a sensational second half. She's put her team on her shoulders. Griner underneath, and she gets that one to go despite a lot of contact.
Yeah, see, I think there are a lot of times, and she's difficult to officiate. To me, she's like Dwight Howard in the NBA. She's physically bigger than everybody else. She does not have the girth that Dwight has, but she's hard. There's a lot of times I think she takes hits, and it could be N1s.
Could be an N1 there, sure. Novosel, good look from 3. Her shooting is just off. She had a poor first half. She's now 0 for 8. Natalie Novosel, and she had better get started for Notre Dame. It's her and Diggins typically who lead them in victory. Griner dumping it down low. She's also an excellent passer, which I don't think she gets quite enough credit for.
Agreed. There's no. She's a willing passer. This is not a black hole when you enter the basketball tour. She surveys the floor. She doesn't get sped up by defenders.
Odyssey Sims to put it in. Sims, a sophomore from Irving, Texas. Williams, a leader, and backs in 2.
Really good play. Boy, she's been terrific. Destiny Williams now 4 for 5. She's got 3 offensive boards, which is her specialty. Terrific.
And she's into double figures with 10. Achanwa on a high post. Looking for Diggins. Doesn't need a lot of room to do that. Her 3-pointer is on target.
Yeah, Odyssey Sims, it's the one aspect of her defense that hasn't been strong. She's given up 2. You're good enough, you're fast enough, you're laterally quick enough to get a step closer despite the range. Diggins has shown you she can make that shot.
And she can pile up points in a hurry, obviously driving to the basket as well, but she can be deadly beyond that arc. Sims off to Hayden. Now the swing. Griner beat everybody in for 2. What a quick step.
Come on, look out. How do you guard that? There were 3 green jerseys around her, and it didn't matter.
Baylor by 7 in the national championship game. Backdoor cut. McBride and lost it as Griner came over. And even though she didn't have a block, she influenced the turnover.
No doubt. That's a turnover that won't show up in the stat page, but this is what she's doing on the offensive end. The only thing that would have made that better was if she had thrown that thing down, let you call a dunk.
And oh, aren't we waiting? She has not done it in any games you and I have called. We're very selfish about this. She has done twice in the NCAA tournament. Picked off by Skylar Diggins with a quick hand.
It will surprise no one if Diggins has a major half. If she influences this second 20 big.
Another 3 on the way. That one a little short. Grind with a big rebound. She has 9 rebounds. Backdoor. There's Williams. No.
How about the pass? That was beautifully done.
McBride hustles it against Griner. Peters back in. She'll lay it in. 5-point game.
Nicely done. Devereaux Peters. There's a reason you rim run. Sprint the floor. No basket is a given. And it's the little things. The devil is in the details in a national championship.
The Devil's in the foul total, too. She's playing with 3 off Griner, and that was a sloppy pass. Turned back over to Notre Dame.
It's been a weakness at points for Kim Mulkey's team. They're better this year than I've ever seen them, but that was a simple dribble to the baseline, a nice soft bounce pass. Nene Hayden didn't have pressure on her. That's a mistake that you can't have.
Peters hands off for Novosel. They run a play for her. She gets hit. Fouled, and she'll be shooting 2. We check in with Holly Rowe.
Well, I caught up with Notre Dame coach Muffet McGraw at the half, and I asked her, what can they do to get Natalie Novosel going? They've got to have her scoring. And she said, you know, Natalie's just off balance tonight. We are running stuff for her, but she's just not feeling it. This is one way she contributes, though. This is her specialty, getting to the free throw line.
But she's got to make them, Holly. 84%. Something's a little off with her tonight.
It's her 5th and 6th free throws, but she's now 3 for 5.
Fouls on Jordan Madden. Her second. 16 and a half to go. Boy, she missed that one badly. Rebound tip controlled by Sims. Well, you can see the frustration in Novosel's face. The senior from Lexington, Kentucky. She was gritting her teeth with her hands down at her side, kind of pleading with herself when she went back to her defensive position.
These are the moments you simply play through. Throw yourself into defense and rebounding and play.
Reiner into the double team, banks into.
You see what I mean? Didn't it feel like somebody might have been on her arm?
Sure.
She had to make that shot through contact.
So Baylor by 7. McBride off the screen by Peters. Great look and 2 more.
Well, and I think that this is important because Odyssey Sims is denying the basketball from Skylar Diggins. Skylar can't score if she can't touch it. So McBride, on those moments where Skylar can't get to the ball, she's got to be an option.
Reiner again, drawing all sorts of contact there. Strip taken away from her. Here's Novosel. Can she finally get started? No, but she'll go to the line. She draws the personal. So it'll be Natalie Novosel to the foul line. Notre Dame trailing 42-37 in the second half of the title game.
We want to show the nation that we are an elite program. This is my chance to be a leader, to leave it all on the floor, and try to lead my team to a national championship.
Skylar Diggins, Odyssey Sims, the 2 best point guards in America. Not much debate about that. Neither one of them has a turnover.
Obviously, a little bit more efficient for Skylar Diggins, but along with the 4 assists for Odyssey Sims, she's got 4 rebounds and 2 steals. So she's contributing in multiple areas for her team. I think she's done a pretty good job at times trying to take the basketball out of Diggins' hands by going face guard deny.
When they both played on the same team for USA Basketball, Skylar Diggins was the starter. We sensed a little bit of the chip on the shoulder of Odyssey Sims when she was asked who the starter was. Very quickly she said she did.
Yeah, she didn't look like she was real happy about that.
Not enamored. Novosel with another one coming.
You like that, though, Dave. You want to have a quiet confidence that you're the best player on the floor when you step between the lines. She wasn't chirping to us. She refused to bite when we were asking her about it. She's just playing.
Sims over the top for Hayden. She'll attack. Got it up there, but no. And here comes Diggins. She has Novosel out in front, shoving with Sims, and no whistle there.
I like that no whistle.
Oh, but Sims went down on that screen, and it's Peters again.
Number 4.
That's
she's got
her
to sit.
4th.
Yep.
Right to the bench. That was a vicious screen.
There's so many times that the want is to lean and help, and you see just a little bit of a lean, a hard hit. I think had she stayed straight up and not leaned in, she would have been fine. Stand straight up and let the ball handler come shoulder to shoulder with you. Look at the beating Griner is taken inside from Achanwa.
A little bit mindful of Stephanie Dolson getting into foul trouble here. Sims for 3 deep in the corner. That opens up the lead to 45-39 for Baylor. She has 11. Achanwa looking for a cutter. Diggins instead up against Sims. The pull up through the foul. She really wanted that basket in the worst way.
This is just special. What we are watching from these 2 guards are special. It's special. She's frustrated with the foul. It was the perfect decision by Skylar. There was Brittany Griner sitting in the paint waiting to block your shot. You pull up and use the mid-range.
Sims second personal. Skylar Diggins at 78%.
Love, this has just been so much fun to watch. These 2 dynamic guards.
You've been looking forward to this matchup for about 2 years.
Yes.
Sims and Diggins for the national championship.
Best offensive point guard in the country is Skylar Diggins. Best defensive point guard in the country is Odyssey Sims.
So it's Baylor by 4. Sims with the ball. But Derricka Miller coming out on her as she enters the game. She also didn't play in the semifinal. Griner zips the pass. Nene Hayden airborne, and that'll roll in.
Another assist, or probably not an assist because she didn't use the bounce, but another good find by Brittney Griner.
47-41. Poked away. Can stay right here. Pretty good tussle between those two, Madden and Novosel.
You know, Brittney Griner, there is so many bodies around her. She just surveys the floor, and that's the best pass to make because the defense has to react, and that's what allows the drive.
Novosel, catch and shoot, in and out. Boy, that was in the cylinder. Absolutely nothing falling for her, and look at Griner put it to the deck as she comes out of the fray with it. Just an awful shooting night for Natalie Novosel. 0 for 9 in the last game of her career. That'll go the other way. It'll be an offensive foul. Number 3 on Sims.
Now, Frederica Miller is in the basketball game for the Notre Dame Fighting Irish, and we'll see a replay of this. Frederica Miller is their best perimeter defender, an outstanding player. She's brought in for this specifically. They want to run a box and one to take Sims's influence away.
Ochanwa bouncing for Diggins, but there's Griner. Now the puck from the corner. No. Scramble for the rebound and a foul against Notre Dame. Tomorrow we have a full slate of action on ESPN and ESPN2. It all starts at 3 on ESPN. The 2012 Masters Par 3. Then at 7 Eastern, Major League Baseball. The season beginning on ESPN. The new look Miami Marlins opening their new stadium, hosting the defending World Series champion St. Louis Cardinals.
No rest for the weary. Dave O'Brien goes right to baseball.
Heading for Detroit myself and then Arizona. Novosel picked up the foul at first. Sims, heavy traffic, denied. Back up, blocked by Ochanwa. She wins it back, no place to go. Shot clock down to 5. Here's Hayden, got it! Well, they turn 3 points into a real dagger there, 9-point lead. Diggins right up and over. Griner for 2.
And this is where she's really grown as a basketball player. So savvy in her decision making. She is just making use of the mid-range, not allowing Griner to have an impact on her shooting.
Schuyler with 16, a foul off the basketball at 12:27 to go in the second half of the national title game.
Tell you what, boy, Brittney Griner just has to absorb so much contact through the course of a 40-minute game. There's always a body in back of her with a forearm in her back, somebody in front. Any cutter going through is going to be physical with her.
Over the top catch, well, you can't defend that.
No, and this is a play they've run to great success. It's not very difficult. You can just throw it out and let the biggest player on the floor catch it.
So Baylor's lead balloons to 52-43. A double-double for Griner, along with 4 blocks. Ochanwa needs some help. Here's McBride. Trying to use a screen around Ochanwa, who rolls, but Griner's there. Can't get to her. Ochanwa a little bit quicker for the basket.
Nicely done. And they've now switched assignments. This is going to be a box and one. Frederica Miller is face guarding Sims, trying to take the influence away. In the past, against Iowa State, Sims became passive in the box and one. She's got to be active.
Griner with a hook on the baseline.
Wow, I tell you, how about that play? Is there a way she hasn't scored tonight?
I don't think so. I have seen about all of the ways she can in 19 and still going strong. In fact, I think she's inventing stuff. Diggins dumps it off. Ochanwa with a nice roll and one. She got hit on the head and she'll go to the line.
Skylar Diggins doing everything within her power to keep her team attached. She's had a couple of mid-range jump shots. She is managing masterfully the point guard position. Go ahead, Skylar Diggins. Get by Jordan Madden. Draw Brittney Griner, and the easy dish for Ochanwa.
Back in Denver, Baylor on top, 54-47 with 11:25 to go here in the second half. We'll give you a look at the most recent undefeateds in sports. To finish a season undefeated, of course, Connecticut 2009-10 went 39-0. The Irish, however, have a history with undefeated juggernauts. Remember Digger Phelps 1974, Notre Dame, that team ended UCLA's 88-game winning streak. That wasn't in the NCAA tournament, but that was the record.
Somewhere Digger Phelps is watching this game smiling. Irish eyes are smiling for Digger that he made the broadcast.
6 previous undefeated teams to enter the national championship game have won the title. Baylor at 39-0. Achanwa at the line. That makes it 54-48.
So Miller out of the ball game, and they look like they're back to what is a tandem defense, now out of the box and one.
Madden high. Hayden gives it back to Madden. Shot clock to 10. Odyssey Sims pops one up, sailed it over, rebounded away. Williams is there, and she's done it several times. She has been on the spot over and over.
13th offensive rebound, 15th second chance point by the Baylor Bears.
McBride, little bump there along with Hayden. Right. Good turn to shoot it. Decides not to do that. Finally gives it up to McBride. Shot clock's at 2. She has to heave it. And that won't drop. Rebound tipped out into the corner for Baylor.
If you remember the draw Rebecca showed you in the first half where they enter the ball to Peters at the free throw line, and she's an outstanding passer. Clearly with her off the floor and they enter it to Marquisha Wright, she does not have those passing skills. That's negatively impacting the Irish offense.
Devereaux Peters with 4 fouls. Griner working on the freshman. Falls away, banks it in.
See, again, that's another little push. And because she's physically bigger and stronger, they're not giving her a call.
She's not happy about it either. Even though her point total is going higher and higher. Griner with 21 and 11 rebounds.
Well, they're chasing perfection. And Brittney Griner in the second half has been very close to perfection. The complete package on the offensive end has been displayed. She turns over this shoulder often when she's on that side of the floor, but it really doesn't matter if you come with multiple defenders. She's an efficient dribbler, uses it. Look at the bodies. I think you could have easily given her an N1. Brittney Griner taking over, and the Baylor Bears in control.
Griner's made all 6 shots she's attempted in the second half and has Baylor up again by 10 over Notre Dame. Baylor as a team is 11 for 15 in the second half.
Well, we talked at the top of the telecast about what a difficult matchup Brittney Griner is for most teams. For the Irish, she's been especially difficult. Peters has been in foul trouble all night long. They've had to play Marquisha Wright, sort of go in and out with her and Natalie Achanwa.
Her dad Raymond watching and hoping to celebrate a 40-0 season along with his daughter tonight here in Denver, Colorado. Novosel again 0 for 9 tonight, and the shots keep glancing away.
Smart play by Brittney Griner. Her guard got hung up, so she said, let me go contest the shot. And we've rebounded with great consistency tonight, so she could afford to step away and challenge.
Madden swings for Griner. Triple team out of that, made it, and she'll go to the line. Boy, is that an All-American play right there.
Yeah, and the All-American, I would assume, is going to start to get some calls, because I think this is about the 3rd or 4th time I thought there should have been an N1. There are bodies around her all the time. What you learn as a post player is not to let the defense speed you up. And Brittney Griner, you are getting closer and closer to your first national championship.
60-48 Baylor. Griner for the 3-point play connects. Give her 24 points.
And now they extend pressure. A little 2-2-1.
Notre Dame breaks it. Turner won't shoot it.
Yeah, now Odyssey Sims is a little bit closer to her.
Diggins drives with the left hand off the window.
Boy, she's been so good. Skylar Diggins has been so good. See, Sims had to step up. She's been burned twice on threes. So once she stepped up, Skylar Diggins attacks that top foot and goes right by.
She is pretty much keeping Notre Dame within striking range by herself. Condrey finds Griner again. She's getting a touch every time. No shot there. Foul before that with 8:45 to go.
And Skylar Diggins, we thought she'd have a big second half. She looks like she wants the screen. She goes opposite anyway. And because Sims had to be so close, that allows a drive. And how many times have you seen her put it soft off the window, but high enough that they can't get a block shot?
Marvelous touch. Ochanwa with 4 comes out. Peters with 4 comes back in. She's only played 8 minutes in the game. Griner gives it up for Condrey. Sims on the baseline, and that's too strong. Loose. Sims went down for it. We haven't had a jump ball tonight. We now have an arrow. It'll keep it on this end. That's the first one of the evening. Baylor ball, 8:35 on the clock.
Boy, Mallory had done just such an outstanding job of weak side checkout, but Odyssey Sims has some of the strongest, fastest, toughest hands in women's college basketball.
Well, the Lady Bears kept saying all week, we're not thinking about 40-0. It doesn't mean a thing. If you're 39-0 and you lose in the national championship, no one will remember those first 39. But they're on the edge of making history in the last 8.5 minutes. No one's ever been 40-0 in the history of college basketball, men's or women's.
It don't mean a thing if you ain't got that ring.
Condrey off the fake. Sims won't wait. Long one for 3. Boy, does that sting Notre Dame. A 14-point lead.
And look at that line by Odyssey Sims. She's just impacted this game in every phase. And that's not talking about the defense she's played on Skylar Diggins.
Sims on Diggins. Off the screen by Peters. Another fall away over Griner. Baylor comes away looking to add to this lead. Are they about to put a stranglehold on the national championship game? Griner underneath. Before the shot, she was fouled, so no basket with 7:44 left.
Brittney Griner is playing in her second Final Four. Looks like she's going to the bench, hobbled a little bit. I don't know if she tweaked an ankle. They do not want to see this because the Irish have had nothing for the Wade Trophy winner. Playing through contact, blocking shots, making you doubt your abilities. There's no doubt about hers. A girl can ball.
The NCAA Women's Championship is presented by the Capital One Cup. Learn more and check the standings at CapitalOneCup.com.
NCAA Women's Basketball Championship from Denver, Colorado. Brittney Griner is all right, although here's where she came up a little lame.
She walks to the bench a bit hobbled. You'll see why. I'm not looking because that always gives me the willies.
Underneath Sims and cashes in, and this is the biggest lead of the game for the Baylor Lady Bears, up by 16.
She just rubbed a little dirt on it, retied the shoe, and came back out and made a beautiful pass.
So Notre Dame had gotten to within 3 points at one point when it was 42-39. But now Baylor up by 16 and nothing dropping.
Yeah, and that time Sims is getting closer, and I think she had a piece of that shot. It certainly seemed to change trajectory.
Approaching 7 minutes. They double up on Sims. Mallory goes down and ties her up on the play. And a timeout has been taken by Baylor before that tie-up.
Watch this inbound play. The connection between point guard and post player. Odyssey Sims inbounds. Look at how much attention. Remember what Rebecca said? It doesn't matter if she's scoring or the stats are showing it. Brittney Griner impacts every single moment of play.
Well, she's been marvelous tonight. 7:05 left. A look back at the 1979 Men's National Championship. Indiana State went in undefeated, but that was magic.
Magic, he just pointed at that poor guy after he dunked on him.
Well, the only other men's team to enter a championship game with a perfect record and lose was Ohio State in 1961. They lost to Cincinnati in the title tilt. Trying to finish the business. Unfinished business has been their theme all season long as they failed to reach the Final Four. Sims fouled in the act, and she's going to go to the line for 3. Sims right back up. Fouled in the act of shooting a three-pointer. 66-50. And it is beginning to slip away rather quickly for the Fighting Irish for the second straight year in the national championship. Sims to the line at 82%. She has 16 in the game.
I just love her countenance, her demeanor, her very quiet self-confidence. And I think that attitude permeates from her out through the rest of the team.
Another one coming. Novosel back on. The other thing about Sims, she did not have a turnover in the national semifinal in 40 minutes against Stanford. She's only turned it over once in the national championship game.
She was really disappointed in her play in the regional final last year against Texas A&M. She underperformed, frankly. You go ruminate on that all summer, and then you come out and play this way.
Diggins on the attack. The floater won't go. The follow by Peters not there. Achanwa blocked by Griner. So here, Mile High, you're fighting altitude, and then you have to go up against number 42.
You can see the result, but what you can't see is the mental toll she takes on you when you're trying to score in there. You've got to stay strong.
Novosel, an unfortunate shooting game. 0 for 10 in the last game of her college career. Another one that won't fall. 0 for 11. She's been an outstanding player for Notre Dame, but what a terrible night for her.
Yeah, they'll point to a couple things. Foul trouble from Peters and the struggles of Natalie Novosel.
So a 19-point lead for Baylor. Williams gives it up for Condrey. They leave her wide open for two.
So one thing they've done really well, Baylor, is get a lot of movement, a lot of cuts to the basketball.
So now these last 6 minutes in Denver begin to take on the feel of a coronation. The backdoor cut, that's out of bounds. Novosel with the turnover. The second half, Baylor has attacked, blowing open a relatively close game. 15 out of 20 in the second half for the Lady Bears. So they have shot the lights out since the break. Baylor won the national championship in 2005 under Kim Mulkey. Kim, the AP Coach of the Year. She's been battling Bell's palsy. Oh, down goes Mallory, landing on her shoulder. That leaves an open shooter. Again, it's Condrey to bury it, and an official timeout because Brittany Mallory almost always bounces back up. One of the toughest players in the country is not getting up fast. She really went thudding down on the hardwood, ripping that shoulder.
Just gets tangled. Her leg gets tangled, pulls directly on that shoulder.
So 5:22 to go. Just falling over the leg of Brittany Griner. A 23-point Baylor lead. And Brittany Mallory still unable to rise. She's already graduated. Out of Baltimore, Maryland. Very tough, but always smiling. Rock for Notre Dame.
She's one of those players that Muffet McGraw always talks about having more faith and confidence in their ability to win games simply because this young woman is on the floor.
Played about 150 games for Notre Dame. Pretty amazing stuff, and finally able to walk off to the side. So Notre Dame, which fell in the national championship game to Texas A&M last year, trailing by 23 to Baylor. We're talking about Condoleezza Rice still being here because she teaches at Stanford. Stanford's been eliminated. I had forgotten that Condoleezza got a master's degree at Notre Dame. That's the reason she's still in the house and rooting on the Fighting Irish, but they're down 23.
It's been a tough couple days for Condoleezza.
Not lying. On the baseline, Williams airborne, draws the foul. And the former Secretary of State still hanging in there with 4:56 to go. They'll send Pope to the line. Brooklyn Pope will be the shooter, and she scuffles there at 46%.
RG3 enjoying a night where his Baylor Bears have 20 assists on 28 baskets, and every player that has played tonight for Baylor, 7 of them have an assist.
This for a 25-point lead in the national championship, and she hits that. And it's sweet music to Trace Atkins, a huge supporter of the Baylor Lady Bears. He can't suppress that grin.
No, he really can't. Kim Mulkey likes to say to her team sometimes, don't you know that country song? And Brittney Griner goes, Coach, no, we never know that country song.
4:45 left. Long bomb doesn't touch anything by Turner and goes sailing out of play. Well, in the Frozen Four's second game Thursday night, Boston College and Minnesota meet in Tampa at 8 Eastern on ESPN2, ESPN3, and streaming live on WatchESPN.com. Doris Berg, Dave O'Brien with you, along with Holly Rowe and Rebecca Lobo. NCAA Women's National Championship. Baylor is about to do what nobody's done before. They're about to finish a season as national champs at 40-0. The leaner by Sims is in and out. Honestly, Sims certainly has a lot to be proud of the way she played tonight. Here's McBride, and another misfire by the Fighting Irish. Mackenzie Robertson is one of the players available for the Baylor Lady Bears, and she's on the floor. That's Kim Mulkey's daughter. McBride on the drive and the foul on the play. 75-52, Baylor in complete command down the stretch in Denver. Let's take a look at tonight's Capital One Cup impact performance.
Well, Brittney Griner, we said she's the most dominant player in women's college basketball. She's the best player in women's college basketball, and in the biggest, brightest moment of her career in the national championship game, she has performed admirably. She has performed like you would expect an all-time great to do, absorbing all kinds of physical contact, making play after play on both the offensive and defensive end.
There has been discussion about Brittney Griner leaving Baylor a year early to play professionally. She has shot that down within the last 24 hours. We know what a pro is going to look like in the NFL, and this young man is just a great fellow. We've enjoyed being around him a lot, and so have the Lady Bears of Baylor. They love him.
Well, the #2 pick in the NFL draft, and you make a great point. We've talked about Nneka Ogwumike being the definitive #1 pick. You know, she would completely, if she ever changed her mind, she would completely shake up the order of the draft. I mean, Brittney Griner has dreamed her whole life of playing for the Los Angeles Sparks. They've got the #1 pick.
Sims with 19 points, 7 rebounds. She's played an outstanding floor game for Baylor. Hayden comes out high to meet it. Approaching 3.5 minutes left in the championship game. Hayden to drive it, gives it to Griner. Brittney wasn't expecting that. Here comes McBride with it now for Notre Dame. Jumper from the wing and knocked in. That was a good-looking shot by Turner, the 5'8 junior. She did not play in the national semifinal. 75-56.
Just taking as much time on the clock as you can, or off the clock as you can if you're Baylor.
Griner working on 24 points. To her right, yes, 2 more.
How good is that?
Griner with 26. She's had a double-double for many, many minutes. Turner lets fly again, not this time. So 77-56. Boy, this game turned quickly. After the initial minutes after halftime, and Notre Dame was right there.
14-0 run by Baylor. And it's been both ends. We're talking about the team that had the most pieces on the offensive end to try to give this team the best competition in that face. And look at the Irish, 56 points. That's all they can muster.
Wild shot right in front of the expiring shot clock for Baylor. Turner gives it up for McBride. Skylar Diggins has 18 points, 7 for 16. She'll draw the whistle. with 1:58 to play. Skyler will be at the line. And tomorrow, we have a full slate of action on ESPN and ESPN2, all starting at 3 o'clock Eastern on ESPN with the 2012 Masters Par 3 contest. Then at 7 Eastern, it's Major League Baseball. ESPN looking at the Marlins in a brand new ballpark against the World Series champ St. Louis Cardinals. Odyssey Sims just picked up her 5th foul, so she has fouled out. And Diggins with a nice touch at the line.
So the Irish have a great recruiting class, as you see Odyssey Sims getting a well-deserved rest. Not bad that she fouled out with 19 of 4. It impacted the game on the defensive end as well.
She sure did.
The Irish will lose a lot. You're going to lose Devereaux Peters, Brittany Mallory, Natalie Novosel. Those are big hits.
Skylar Diggins, a junior. She'll be back. A whistle here with 1:46 to go. That'll be on Kayla McBride. Her 3rd. Here's the senior class. Look at all those wins. Going to 2 Final Fours, appearing in 2 national championship games. They will not win one. And Notre Dame green.
Brittany Mallory getting up off the bench, as you see for Derica Miller, and she come in the ball game. She's holding that left arm up. I'm not sure why she's coming back in. Unless they're going to put her in and take her out to let the Notre Dame fans acknowledge her one more time. It's the only reason I can imagine her coming back in here.
Could be the case. So Condrey at the line and spins that one in.
In addition to the seniors, a source close to the situation has confirmed to me that Notre Dame Associate Head Coach Jonathan Sippes will be introduced at Friday in a press conference as the new head women's basketball coach at George Washington University. So in addition to the seniors, and that's no surprise.
I mean, they get a rising star.
Oh, no doubt about it. He is a tremendous coach, an even better guy. George Washington should be thrilled.
Diggins had a shot partially blocked there by Madden. So it's been tough sledding, getting good shots in the second half for Notre Dame. I guess that goes without saying when Brittany Griner is in the middle of it all. The State Farm Wade Trophy Player of the Year, along with the Associated Press Player of the Year, the NCAA's #2 all-time shot blocker. By the time she leaves Baylor, she's going to be #1.
Listen, this is a woman who has been subjected to unprecedented verbal abuse from fans, sometimes from her opponents. She has had to absorb all kinds of physical contact over her career, countless indignities in other areas, social media, and with one exception, she has handled it all with grace and dignity and great maturity, and a national title in a special exchange between Kim Mulkey and her 2 stars. And Papa, you should be awfully proud.
RG3 is 26 points. Griner 8 for 9 shooting in the second half. 13 rebounds. And I think officially she altered 10 shots and blocked 5. So she is beginning the celebration over on the Baylor bench. What a night for her. And for the Lady Bears, about to do what no one's ever done in the history of college basketball. 40-0. Remarkable.
The numbers will back it up as she's an all-time great in this game already as a junior. But now the legacy includes a national title, and that's an important piece.
Turner off the front rim. Another big rebounding night for Baylor against Notre Dame. It's made all the difference, as it did the first time they met in November, which was a 13-point victory for Baylor. They were rarely tested by anybody all season long. And in the second half of the national championship game, they were not tested, as it turns out. A foul with 30.6 seconds to go. You talked about her legacy and needing a championship to fulfill that. And Brittany Griner has done that tonight in Denver.
And done it with style.
Lindsey Palmer at the line, a senior for Baylor, playing her last minutes. So Baylor to 80 points. Tough shooting night for the Fighting Irish, 34%. Baylor is going to end this season having not allowed an opponent to shoot 50% in 215 games. Scramble here, and possession arrow will keep it on this end with 11.7 seconds to go. Kim Mulkey about to win her second championship as a head coach.
She's been to the title game 8 times. She's walked away a winner an awful lot of those times.
As a player, as an assistant, as a head coach. She's done it in the Olympic Games, too.
2-0 in the national championship now for Kim Mulkey, one of the most competitive, competent coaches we have.
Turner rattles in a long one. Final seconds here in Denver. And Baylor, how do you like the sound of this? 40-0. The Lady Bears are the national champs in 2012. Baylor becomes the 7th undefeated team to win the national championship. They defeat Notre Dame 80-61. Rarefied air, though, for the Lady Bears, the first men's or women's team to finish a season 40-0. Congratulations to Baylor. Let's go to Rebecca with Brittney Griner.
Brittney, you had a solid first half, and in the second, Notre Dame could not stop you. How were you able to just be dominating in the second 20 minutes?
Just staying focused, staying to our plan. My guards got me the ball, and I was just able to dominate.
You just had the sign unfinished business. You were crossing off the unfinished part. That's been the team's motto all season. How gratifying is it to have a total team effort tonight?
It was great. Everybody was a part of this win. Everybody did what they needed to do, and the unfinished business is done. We did it.
40-0, never been done before. What's it like for you to win this national championship?
I can't even give you words. I'm just glad it's coming home to Baylor.
All right, congratulations. Send it over to Holly with Coach Mulkey.
Well, Coach, at one point in the second half, they pulled within 6. What changed that allowed you to really open that lead?
I just thought we were composed. We've seen it all, Holly. We've had teams make runs at us. Those guys played for the national championship last year. They're not going away, and I just thought we kept our composure. I thought Griner got touches, and I'm so happy.
Odyssey Sims is just a sophomore, but she played like a veteran tonight. Coach, how do you describe how she kept your team composed?
I think you saw the best point guard in the country today. Odyssey Sims knew when to shoot it. She knew when to run. She knew who to get the ball to. She hit big shots. You realize she and Griner just won their first championship. I'm so dadgum happy for them.
Thank you, Coach.
Thank you.
Brittney Griner, a junior. Odyssey Sims, a sophomore. There may be more. 80-61 the final. Griner with 26 points, 13 rebounds, 5 blocks. This is your home of the NCAA Women's Basketball Championship. Stay tuned for the trophy presentation and a lot more coverage coming up next on SportsCenter, including live coverage of the trophy presentation and the latest on Tiger Woods at the Masters. Baylor has won the 2012 National Championship.